Hello, my friends. How are you guys? I know some of you, it's been a long time since I've seen you, since we've talked. And I was just reminiscing my last few weeks of travel. I was away for 5 weeks or more than 5 weeks. And I have to say, it was some of the most amazing times facilitating, but also facilitating myself through these classes, as they always are, and really looking at the gift of each of us and how much we don't have to do anything. We don't have to say anything, but how much being us and having our voice and sharing it with others really contributes, really changes the world. I had the great pleasure of going to Moscow and Cyprus and Rome and Germany, and got to facilitate the right body classes and the right voice classes. And what came out of it was so much more than I could have ever expected. And I don't usually have any expectations, but the transformations, the changes, the places where people were actually willing to really start listening to their bodies, willing to be themselves, not who they think they have to be because of how their parents raised them or society or what we were told we have to be to survive. But really, the real you. And through this discovery, it doesn't matter how many classes I attend or how many I'm facilitating myself. These right body and right voices classes, right voice classes have changed so much for me. You know, when I first heard of the right voice class, I used to think it was for singers or entertainers. And yes, if that's what you like, you are welcome to join us, but it's so much more than that. It's been the self-discovery. I used to think I was me all the time. But then I realized that was a lie. That was an ugly lie I was telling myself. And there's so much I learned through school, so much I learned through my family, and so many secrets hidden in our family, which never made sense to me, to how private everyone was and things of that sort. And I wasn't that way, and my kids haven't been raised that way, but I still realize how much of me I'm hiding. And I would say I'm pretty much out there a lot, and I'm still discovering places that I use as an excuse to hide, as an excuse not to be seen, not to be heard. And I don't know if it applies to any of you guys, but I just realized through these classes and in the Meister class too, like, we talked so much about being in a box and hiding. And what we think we're hiding is actually one of the greatest parts of us. It's the kindness, it's the amazing difference that we are. But we're trying to fit in. We're trying to be like everybody else. We're trying to still please others, have others as friends. And if you asked me this a couple of years ago, friendship was always the number one thing for me. Always. I cared about people in my life, and I would say it was so much easier for me to make friends first and even family second. And I just realized, like, there's so many lies with friendships. You know, what if it's not about identifying someone as a friend or not as a friend or nice or mean or anything like that, but every single one of us has gifts. We have talents. We have capacities and abilities that no one in this world will have just like us. And one thing through these classes, just interesting point of view, you think it's this little thing that you all learned, and it was like part of the first things you learned, but it's this evolving. It's a tool that just keeps giving and giving and giving and giving. And the energy of it is so different. Energy of allowance is so different for me. And I was like, wow, like I wonder how many of us even have a definition of like who we're supposed to be to us, not to anyone else, not to your friends, not to your family, not to your loved ones, not to your coworkers, but to you. Like, how many definitions do you have of you and the things that you hide from you? And there's a space of vulnerability that comes from these classes, of being vulnerable with you. And that's where you start with creation and actualization anyway, when you are vulnerable and you're willing to let you in. And I'd like to invite you guys. I have found these Right Voice classes are so dynamic and they're so different. Every single one I've ever attended, every single one I've ever facilitated never looks the same. The activities are all different, the people are different, the questions are different. And I invite you to explore you, like being you from a different space, having your voice from a different space, even your cooking voice, your voice of your body, your voice of your business, your voice of your life, just from a different space. And it doesn't matter if you've taken classes before, you know, every single one of them just has a different space and possibility, also based on where you are. So I would like to have this be a formal, as much as formal can be, but just my personal invitation to you, to the possibilities beyond what we can imagine. The things that I became aware of in Moscow was like, wow. And then taking that into the Maestro class and taking it into our Germany classes. And I'm so excited about coming to Tokyo. It's just a special place for me, Japan. I can't explain it, but there's just something so special about coming to Tokyo and inviting you to join me. And together, what else is truly possible for us to create together? That's not about making this reality wrong, but being that space of our reality, space of possibilities, and really being able to change the ability for people to actually have their voice in their own life. You'd like to have it in the world. Guess what? That's what happens when you're willing to have it in your own life. And it's not even about you, what you're going to go say to someone else, but when you're willing to be you, willing to have your voice and your vulnerability with you, so much changes. So much more becomes available. And yes, you can add some more joy in your life if you like. You can add more visibility for you and your business, your relationships. There's just so many possibilities with it. You know, if you're shy, what else is possible there? And is it even your shyness? I wonder. Like, there's so many things. And in Germany, I got to bring my daughter along, Mariah, and it was so beautiful to watch her blossom. She's a pretty incredible being, and watching her ease. She's usually not a person who comes and speaks in front of others unless she has to for school or something work related. But she was so comfortable in her body, and she was so much more comfortable being seen. And I can't tell you, it's priceless to watch people transforming in front of me. And it's going to be different for each person, but just the feedbacks of people just sharing like how much these classes have shifted and created so much more for themselves and their level of confidence, and just the fact that they could be so much more in their own bodies. And I'd like to invite you not to that, not to what anyone else has experienced, but what might be possible for you, what might be available for you. So if that would be fun for you, join us in Tokyo join us on Zoom. We'll have Zoom available on video as well. We will have Japanese and Mandarin translation. And what else is possible that we can create together? And if you're coming to Tokyo, we're gonna go the day before, have this event called A Delicious Adventure with Laleh in Nature. And I'd like to invite you and your body to some yummy, yummalicious food, talking about our bodies, doing some clearings around money, and then going to the shrine and getting our money cleansed, and then with communion with the earth at the beach. So if that would be fun, that one is not a video Zoom, but if you and your bodies would like to join us, you can join us in person. And always, if you have any questions, just email us at info@globalwellnessforall.com. And it's not about me or any of these classes, but just would like to invite you to the possibilities that are way beyond what this reality it lets us know is available. So thank you, my friend, for being you, truly being you. Your kindness and your gift, it's beyond words. And I do hope I get to see you in person or on Zoom sometime really soon.